Our language is so limited. Even just the English language in itself compared to the Hebrew language is basic. And so, one translation says you give thanks to God in a most excellent way. That verse we just read. Paul says in same chapter, I thank God I speak with tongues more than you all. Then he goes, well, it says 1 Thessalonians 5:17-18, pray without ceasing. How are you going to pray without ceasing? Think about that. That's hard to do. If you pray in your understanding with what you know, how I am not going to be able to sit in a meeting or effectively even watch you can't do anything else. If you're going to pray without ceasing with what you understand and your understanding in the English language, how are you going to do that? It says, pray without ceasing. Next verse says, in everything give thanks. Everything. Not just the good. But how do you pray? Pray without ceasing. See, the Holy Spirit, if something bad happens, knows how to give thanks in that bad situation. But what I'm saying in praying without ceasing, think about trying to say, okay, to have a serious prayer with God when you're supposed to be focused on something else. Well, you can do that all day with tongues. Do you get what I mean? You can pray without ceasing. You can sit in a meeting and hear what they're saying and respond, and the whole time be praying under your breath. Except when you have to respond. You can't, it's hard to pray without ceasing in your understanding when you're at Wonder Woman. I hadn't seen Wonder Woman yet, but I'm just saying, you're not going to be locked in. You get what I'm saying? You got to hear from God what to pray in your understanding, what the scriptures to use to back it up. How do you pray without ceasing? Am I yelling? Am I yelling too loud? I feel like it's echoing here. So if you feel like I'm yelling, raise your hand. Okay, so no one's offended. The best way to give thanks without ceasing is to pray in tongues. And so 1 Corinthians 14:18, I thank God I speak with tongues more than you all. He just looked around and told them the truth that he speaks in tongues more than any of them. And they were serious tongue talkers. And so he's trying to make a point. He's not bragging here. And so, let me give you an example. Let's say I have a business, and another guy I'm doing business with is supposed to deliver me, say, $450,000 of exercise equipment for my business. And I pay him the $450,000, and he doesn't deliver it. And he says he did. Nightmare, huh? All right, I did. That's your problem. No, I did. Here, I got the receipts and everything. I got somebody signed off on it over there. What am I going to have to do to get my $450,000 back? Well, I'm going to have to hire a lawyer. Because even though I'm in the right, there are no guarantees that I'm going to win that court case. Let's look at it this way. What if you went to court without a lawyer against a guy that ripped you off? How many Christians are going to court on a daily basis without a lawyer in the heavenly realm? Because the Bible calls him a lawyer. The Holy Spirit, an actual advocate. That's what a lawyer is, an advocate. And so it's a spiritual fight. John 14:26, but the Comforter, and that word is a deep word, and it means in the Greek, counselor, helper, intercessor, advocate. Lawyer. The Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, am I placed to represent me and act on my behalf. He will teach you all things. How's that going to happen? I think you've got to speak it. You've got to pray it out. He will cause you to recall, remind you, and bring you into remembrance of everything I've told you. An advocate is an attorney. And so 1 Corinthians 14:6, now brethren, if I come to you speaking in unknown tongues, how shall I make it to your advantage unless I speak to you in either revelation, in knowledge, in prophecy, or in instruction?